How I survive on $100,000 in LA after leaving a $125,000 job. Sounds like a finance guru video, right? Yeah, that's not this. I'm a brand new creator, a regular commuter, and the kind of guy who still opens the calculator app to tip on a latte. I'm not here with a perfect blueprint. I got laid off from a higher paid job. I ended up around $100,000 in a state role, and now I'm riding LA trains trying to figure out if this trade actually makes sense in real life. I'm not gonna drop my exact salary because this is YouTube, not HR, and my family knows how to use Google. So for this episode, we're using 100,000 as our simple round number. It's not the exact number, but it's close enough that when I put it next to my commute costs, my stress levels, and this whole pension thing, a picture starts to form. So if you ever looked at your own paycheck and thought, this number looks okay, but why does my life still feel cooked? This episode is me, a total newcomer, walking you through how I'm trying to make 100,000 in LA actually feel livable. Today, I want to answer one question. Is it actually worth taking a big pay cut to make your commute and your life feel less like a slow motion car crash? Let's start with that number everybody grabs onto, 100,000. On paper, 100,000 sounds the same whether you're in a private office or a state agency. But in real life, 100,000 with a car commute does not feel the same as 100,000 with a train pass. Right now, my commute bill is basically one tap card and one train pass. A regular Metro monthly pass runs in the ballpark of 50 to 70 bucks, depending on your program. My Metrolink pass to get in and out of LA is in the low hundreds, depending on zone. So to keep it simple, let's call my whole transit commute about $250 a month. That's $250 to move my 6'5" self across LA every workday without touching a steering wheel. Now let's talk about what 100,000 feels like if I'm driving every day instead. If I go back to car life, gas alone in California can easily hit $150 to $200 a month for a real commute. Maintenance and repairs, when you spread out oil changes, tires, and random surprises, you're looking at another $100 to $150 a month on average. If you're coming into downtown regularly, parking can add another $150 to $200 a month if you're in a garage or lot. By the time you add that up, your free car commute is suddenly a $400 to $550 monthly bill just to sit in traffic. So that same 100,000 salary with a car, a big chunk quietly disappears into gas, maintenance, and paid parking. With transit, more of it actually stays in my account, and my blood pressure stays lower with it. Money talk usually stops at the paycheck. But here's the part nobody's posting on Instagram: the pension. In my old private sector world, it was all about the top line number and whatever I could save on my own. No pension, just vibes, spreadsheets, and hoping the market doesn't tank right when I need it. In this state agency role, that around 100,000 comes with something different: a pension. Actual long-term baked-in stability that future me is going to be very grateful for. When you're younger, pension sounds like some word your uncle brings up at Thanksgiving. The older you get, the more it sounds like, hey, maybe I don't have to panic at 65. And that's the real trade that doesn't show up on a paycheck screenshot. I'm giving up some top-line income now for something that makes this ballpark 100,000 feel safer than a higher number did before. I'm trading a bit of look rich today money for don't be terrified later money. Is that glamorous? No. Is it a big deal? Absolutely. In episode 1, I talked about what it feels like just to arrive at work. How there's a difference between showing up tired and showing up wrecked. When I was driving every day, I pull into the office already fried. I'd done 45 minutes of brake light meditation on the freeway, dodged 3 people who think turn signals are a myth, and hunted for parking like it was a competitive sport. By the time I sat down at my desk, my shoulders were tight, my jaw was clenched, and my brain was already cooked. And I hadn't even opened my inbox yet. On the train, I'm still tired. This is real life, not a commercial. But it's a different kind of tired. I'm not burning mental energy reacting to traffic every 10 seconds. I get to sit, zone out, read, edit this channel, stare out the window like a tall NPC, or just breathe while the city slides by. There's no line item in my budget that says, I don't hate my commute today. There's no cell in the spreadsheet called arrive at work with a nervous system that's not on fire. But my body absolutely feels the difference. I start the day with more battery left. I'm not at 20% by 9 a.m. just because the 5 freeway decided my mood. And that's the part that's really hard to price. 100,000 with a calmer commute isn't the same as 100,000 with freeway damage baked in. You can't put that on a pay stub, but it shows up in how your day actually feels. So let's zoom back out. Old life, more money, more stress, no pension, car commute, and a layoff at the end of it. New life, ballpark 100,000, pension, 1 Metro pass, 1 train pass, and a very different way of getting to work. On the money side, if I'm driving, my commute quietly eats $400 to $550 a month in gas, maintenance, and parking. Again, ballpark numbers, but very real. With transit, I'm closer to $250 a month to get to the same job in the same city with way less chaos wrapped around it. On the life side, I'm not saying I flow into work on a cloud of enlightenment, but I'm not starting every day in a full body clench, mad at traffic before I've done a single task. I show up tired, but not destroyed. I show up feeling like a person, not a crash test dummy for LA freeways. In episode 1, I wasn't sure if this whole thing was a brilliant move or a slow cinematic mistake. Now that I've lived it a little, I still don't have all the answers, but I can feel the trade more clearly. When I tell you to take a 25% pay cut, no. I don't know your bills, your family, your risk tolerance. What I am saying is this. For me, this ballpark 100,000 with a pension, a smaller commute bill, and a calmer nervous system is starting to feel more like a life and less like a grind. And that's not something old me chasing the biggest number ever stopped to consider. If you're watching this thinking, I don't make 100,000, but I do know what it's like to arrive at work already exhausted, this is who I'm talking to. It's less about my exact numbers and more about this question. How much of your paycheck is getting eaten by your commute in money, in time, in stress before you even clock in? So here's what I want to know from you. If it meant 1 monthly transit pass, a little more stability later, and actually arriving at work as a human being, would a 25% drop in pay ever be worth it for you? Or is that a line you just can't cross right now? Drop your honest answer in the comments. No judgment, just real talk. Hit like if you want more of these breakdowns, and subscribe if you want to keep riding above the crowd with me while I figure out in real time whether this was the smartest decision I ever made or just the most honest one.